Mawarid Finance. فالك طيب.
Glad to see so many financial executives and fintechs around the table. So my name is Chetan Parekh. I'm the managing partner for fintech practice for Cedar. We're a global management consulting firm. We're in the region for the last 3 decades. So I'll take you through our view on the industry, fintechs, and innovation. So let me start with industry first, because fintechs exist because there is a customer and innovation required by fintech, number of financial institutions. So if you see on the left, and there's no surprise, as all of you know, UAE is growing at the fastest pace among the GCC, and 32% of assets in banking is with UAE. So that's the size of the opportunity. Many of us believe Saudi is larger. No, Saudi isn't. It is UAE which is the largest banking market in the GCC. Second and important, it's growing at a very handsome rate. Most of the Europe, US is growing at 1.9 to 2%. GCC and UAE in specific is growing at 6.4. And you can see banking assets across GCC also. So we are faster than the GCC as well. Now, when you look at the trends, remember there are 3 things investors look for. ROE. So UAE is growing at 19.8% in ROE with the banks, and 50% of financial institutions today is implementing AI and fintechs in their business. Islamic assets, which is one of the key area of growth, is growing faster than conventional assets. So I'm glad to see a lot of Islamic products coming across all the enterprises. Now, when you look at what's driving this growth, digital. Many of you must have read the results of the year 2024. I don't know how many of you track YO from Abu Dhabi. They've grown to 37 billion in 2 years with 400 million in profits. A new bank can grow in UAE to 37 billion and they don't have any branches. They just have an app. So that's the size of the growth for digital bank and digital payments. So only 1 out of 6 payment in UAE is cash. It used to be a cash market, if you remember, a decade before. So that's the size of the change from digital payments. And as you can see, we had one bank, Neo, which started way back in 2015, 2016. Today we have 7 digital banks. And any guesses what would be the size of digital banking market? It is 22% of UAE's market. It has 2.2 million customers as digital banks. Only Neo and Live, these 2 banks, have between themselves 1.2 million customers. So that's the size and the growth on the fintechs and digitization which the market is accepting, and it's customer preference which finally matters. Now, there are 3 key trends in digital. First and foremost, no guesses, AI. So most apps is implementing AI and personalization. Thanks to UAE Central Bank, open finance regulation came last year. And that's being implemented with the ecosystem. So people like YO, Expense have already started open banking partnerships. So they have open APIs published by finance company or banks for fintechs to consume. So if you are a fintech, it's a great news for you. Third, sustainable finance. Thanks to ESG and sustainable finances coming in, bank like Zan, Abu Dhabi Islamic are focusing on community and sustainable finance. So that's what's happening in the digital banking space. Now, fintechs. Again, largest fintech market in the Middle East. 329 fintechs. 62% registered in Dubai. So that's the size of the fintech. Some of the very, very popular name, though Tabby is headquartered in Saudi Arabia, the biggest market for Tabby is UAE. Sarwa, Zina, some of the very, very successful names. Now Money for remittances. So across the board, if you see payments, again, no surprises. My colleague Samir spoke earlier about it. Payments, acquiring, issuing. This business is biggest business when it comes to digital. So 29% of fintechs are focused on this business. Next big is blockchain. Dubai government is pushing in a very big way. Dubai coin is coming out very soon. API and product development are some of the other bigger investments. Again, Dubai is going to experience a flood of lending players. I'm glad to see Fulus outside as fintech, which is very successful in Bahrain. So lots of lending opportunities. Almost 8% of fintech is in lending. Central Bank has clearly built a reputable co-sandboxing program where fintechs can pre-certify their apps and technologies with the banking communities. That's the size and that's the domain. If you see some of the really big names, very important, most of these are ideas implemented and designed in Dubai. So it's not a European fintech landing in and setting up a shop. Yeah, so these are all homegrown regulatory solutions, alternative lending solutions, and many blockchain linked data analytics solutions. So that's the fintech landscape of Dubai. Now, there are 5 key trends I would like to talk about when it comes to fintech. First, there is a huge opportunity in open finance. Banks have planned, insurance companies have planned for it, and different financial institutions, investment banks have planned for it. So open finance, clearly look at the circular, look at the open APIs, how can you become part of the ecosystem. Second, the blockchain and the digital asset. UAE was one of the first to bring an authority, WARA, to regulate blockchain, to regulate cryptos. So again, that's another big opportunity, very legal in this part of the world. Many of the Asian markets still is not legal with cryptos and blockchain. AI-driven financial services. Now, financial services have been around for a long time. What's changing is the personalization and the speed at which AI can help an app come up with an opportunity for customer. So that's one of the biggest change based on people's behavior and habit. Again, cross-border, one of the largest payment market. UAE has a huge amount for cross-border, right from Swift GPI to many new technologies are being implemented. At the front end, apps like Pay from Fab or Magnati, people, all of these apps are bringing in new generation digital wallets and services. Last but not the least, let's not forget financial inclusion and SME. Traditionally, UAE has always lended to big corporates, large corporates, and there has been not enough programs on SME. So government has pushed for SME finance, SME banking, and industry is been asked to allocate between 5 and 10% of their capital towards SME. So financial inclusions like Beehive, which does crowdfunding, now which does low-income lending and remittances on a smart way without any paper involved, right? So these are some of the fintech trends which you can take a clear advantage and grow with. Now, when you look at the innovation, let's understand where the innovation is coming from. So for last decade and a half, organizations like BBVA have been innovating new generation technologies. So Bank of America is looking at emotion AI. Again, Plum is looking at autonomous finance. BBVA has looked at fraud detection. There are quite a few real-time fraud detection engines available on the ground, and risk banking for climate. So it's quite innovations which is happening globally. When it comes to UAE, again, cloud is the number one. For many of you who may not know, UAE cloud journey started with Oracle and Azure, opening their cloud data centers in Abu Dhabi. These were investment late 2018, came up full existence in 2020. Today, banks like Investbank runs its complete technology from cloud, replacing its traditional core banking systems. Metaverse banking is here. Adib with Vision Pro offers a full metaverse banking You don't need the glasses. You can do it with your mobile. Rise of the whole buy now, pay later, which you see with Tabby and Postpay. These are very much UAE innovation. Super apps. Many of you know Noon Journey, Kareem Journey, Botim Journey. Many of these started as a ride apps, phone apps. Today Botim does lending, Botim does accounts, Botim does payment. So these super apps are slowly capturing the market, and lifestyle banking is the mantra. Stablecoin regulatory framework is out. This year we should see POCs and coming out of the stablecoin, and the green financing initiatives. Banks like Dubai Islamic, Fab, Mashrak have all introduced the green financing. Now let's understand why things are changing. So it's driven by consumer preference. 85% of the consumers in UAE prefer digital and mobile versus branches. So from a siloed digital and traditional operations, it's integrated, hyper customer centric banking. That's where we are going towards. From ideas to execution, it used to take a month, year to year and a half to do something. Now we see products coming out in 3 to 6 months with Agile. So Agile being implemented. The culture is changing. Earlier the culture was of automation. Now the culture is end-to-end AI and personalization. From a rigid core banking systems, out of top 15 UAE banks, 12 of them have changed their core banking to digital core. So see the amount of foundation investments which has gone in. And fragmented data used to be the earlier thing. Now there is data platforms on lean and data-driven analytics. So that's where UAE financial institutions are going. So if you have to design as a fintech, these are the 6 things for Bank of Future I will keep in mind. Banks will invest in generative AI. So that's the #1 trend of agentic AI and generative AI being investment. Second, your story has to be linked to customer. If you are changing customer's experience or customer's life, that's what they are looking for. Embrace open finance. Traditionally, UAE has been 50 banks and 20 non-banking finance companies. These 70 institutions have had a legal right to sell. As open finance comes in, 230 odd enterprises will partner with banks' APIs and offer services. So you will be in a high competition. And remember, open finance is live in UK for 6 years now, Nordics for 8 years now. In this market, people don't go to Barclays and bigger banks because they give appointment 2 weeks later. They go to companies which does lending at the back using Barclays APIs. So that's how it will be integrated. It will be integrated into Lulus and city centers. They will start having their cards, their accounts, their lending offered in a joint collaboration with a bank at the back. Agile operating models. Don't try and build 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 year project plans. See what you can do in 30, 60, 90 days and how you can launch. There's very recently a bank called Zand which did its core banking in 180 days. In 180 days, they went core banking live from zero to new with Finacle. Invest into cybersecurity. With all this coming in, risk and cybersecurity is a key area. And the last, if you are selling, forget forms, forget apps. Is your API ready? Can you give your API to someone to sell for you? So it's API volumes which will matter in future, not how many products you have. Yeah? So that I'll bring into my presentation. Thanks for listening in. Pleasure.